And our final speaker today is Jordan Harding, who's hiding back in the back row there. Get Jordan up. Jordan has been the person behind this beautiful user interface that we're all working with. Oh, excellent! And
Because I can see better from the UI.
yes, fantastic. So Jordan and Will Carrara. Let me get your.
Try to plug this laptop in first real quick.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, do your thing.
Hi everyone, we're just gonna get quickly set up here. We're just gonna see if we can connect this computer to just actually do a live demo of farms versus showing something that's pre-computed. We have been having some issues with the internet. I'm sure a lot of you might be also experiencing similar things. So if that doesn't work, we'll just go over what we have natively on this PC. Alrighty.
All right. So this is what you will see when you get to farms. Basically, what we wanted to achieve is the ability to upload shapes, draw your own shapes, or select existing shapes from the OpenET boundary set. The only one that works so far is the shapefile upload. So that will, let me just refresh here. We will upload a sample. So as soon as the shapefile is uploaded, it automatically reads all the data inside the shapefile to validate the projection and the data inside of it. It will read the properties and be able to allow you to select your 3 that you're going to use. So for example, we'll choose the ID as the identifier, and then this column called block as one of the attributes. So we'll just put this, send to map, and hopefully the Wi-Fi works. Yeah, something's going on. So, because that's not doing that, so this would automatically put that shapefile on the map. And at this point, these shapes are now inside a spatial database where the whole data set is stored as a single multi-polygon, and every individual polygon is stored as a single geometry in a separate table. So with each polygon, you'll see the identifier that you chose with the value for that field. And with that, you can create a report where here you can choose whether or not the report is recurring, whether or not you want to include forecasting on daily reports, when that should start, when that should end, the data set to use, the models to use, and then the variables to use. So when that is done, you would click Save Report. I will open up an existing one. So this is a report that has been generated from this exact same data set. Every individual field you can click on, and it will give you the ET data for that field. You can also cycle through them right here, and you'll see a full drop down of all the data for that field. You can choose the models that were extracted and the variables that were extracted per model. And one exciting part that we just launched this week, if we go to the daily report, there we go. You'll see that we have a little bit at the end here with forecasted data. That was a lot of work by Will to make that work in such a short amount of time. But yeah, so far this is what it is. We have the ability to download all the data for all the fields at once, so you can instantly take every piece of data for every field inside this data set, get it as a CSV. Right now, it only includes the value, but we can include the acre feet and the, what's the other column?
The acreage.
Oh, just the acreage, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at right now. With the other abilities, you can see, you can draw polygons and squares. You can cut the squares, which is interesting. So if you wanted to make a shape and then take a section out of it, you can do that pretty easily. And this will save as a data set inside of a database. So once you upload the shapefile, you never have to deal with your shapefile again. You can just come in, edit your data set, make edits to the geometries inside that data set, update the properties that you'd like for that data set. Eventually, we want to implement like full-blown boundary editing capabilities, so the software will eventually become something that completely replaces shapefiles. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Oh, it also has a really fun, if you don't like, here, 1 second here, you can also make it all white if you're into that. And that's pretty much it.
Yep. So as Jordan mentioned, Farms is really in its early development stages. We're really excited to hear feedback from the community about what types of things would be useful to have here. What do we want to include in these reports? What type of temporal frequency is going to be most useful for people? Would love to hear feedback on that. Coming soon is, right now, you'll see it's just under one sort of monolithic interface, one account. This will be coming to individual users' accounts next week. So once you go to farmsetdata.org, you won't see everybody else's shapefiles or dropdowns. It's going to be account specific. Thank you so much for your time here, and please let us know if there's anything that you'd like to see on this. Thank you.
Am I seeing the crop type on that screen right now?
Are you seeing maybe the ID of each field?
So then that's a user identification in another part of the application?
Yeah, so the when you define your own shapefile, you'll have the ability to have some type of ID for every polygon that you choose. You can include things, other attributes such as crop type, some type of aggregation, etc., which would be displayed when you hover over it. For this demo, is just a very rudimentary shapefile with the IDs 1 through 5, just to keep things kind of simple. But we're definitely looking to kind of add more of those attributes. And if it's something where 3 attributes is not enough to add, please let us know. We can add more if that's useful.
For the recurring reports, do you have to go into the platform, or do they? How do you get those recurrents?
I think the best way would be for the system to notify you that a new one exists, and then you would click a link that would allow you to view it on a web interface or download it as a PDF or view all the data in a CSV.
So, and just a note, while Farms is in its early beta stages, we likely won't enable the recurring reports just because we really want to get the format down of what a good report is before we send you hundreds of them.
Yeah, we want to know what you want to see more than anything.
With this custom user upload, is there a preferred, I think the word is projection or coordinate system ET uses, or is it user specified?
The default that we prefer is 4326, but it does have the capability of auto reprojecting on the fly. It will automatically detect when a 4326 is not there and attempt to reproject it automatically.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to see this. I get questions like this a lot and so this is going to be like a new link to solve problems that people ask me about, which I appreciate that you've done. I'm curious, what you envision once it launches out of beta is like the practical limit for what somebody should be able to do with it. Are you talking like 10 fields, 100 fields kind of? Is that like what type of use case you're targeting with this for someone?
So in our early beta, we are targeting kind of individual users, small farmers, et cetera. So here's kind of a good, very quick example. Daily data is really the tricky one for like large scale irrigation, like scheduling applications. That's kind of memory intensive, and you can run into limits for really complicated shapefiles that are really large with a lot of vertices. There is another component of this that we're building in where you will be able to do kind of farms large scale, and it'll work just slightly differently where the report might not generate immediately, but take a few minutes or run at night and give it to you tomorrow. So we do plan to support much larger scale applications, ideally in the hundreds of thousands of acres and hundreds of polygons, potentially thousands, depending on what types of limits. Part of this is going to be how much can we optimize the system on our end to be able to support much larger, enterprise types of use cases. But for the early beta, it'll be fairly rudimentary.
Great, thank you.
So what would you say, sort of like 10,000 acres, 20, 30 fields initially, and then targeting maybe 100,000 acres long term and a couple hundred polygons?
Yeah, that would be excellent. I mean, part of this will be you might run into some errors when doing the beta testing. Right now, at this time, we don't have hard numbers to kind of give good advice for where those boundaries exist right now. So if you hit one, that might be the case kind of early on in the beta. But as you said, Forrest, those are probably fairly good numbers to recommend off the bat.
So could you go over how we could participate in bringing this forward?
I think the best information we could use is how it makes you feel, what's missing for you, what may be too much visually, what data you want to see on the chart, the types of formats that you would like in a downloadable report or a printable report, all that kind of stuff, like any kind of feedback. We did this without any feedback, so we are not confident that it's what people need, but yeah, I think the most important thing for us would be to just hear from you. And
So we would just go on and make an account and
Yeah, so
email you?
farms will be entering like a public beta for these purposes. Expect an email to the entire OpenET listserv in about a week once we tie things into the individual user accounts. At that point, we would really like to, you'll have the full link for you to access, and you can feel free to test.
And I will say, we will set up some working groups, just like for those of you who participated in the API working groups, those were incredibly valuable. And I hope many of you now see API endpoints that someone in those working group they asked for, so that's why it's there, right? So we will do the same thing here. We will send an email out to the full listserv. We know sometimes that gets lost. We'll also try to send emails to folks that have self-identified as being interested in irrigation management, on farm water management applications, so keep an eye out for those. And we will schedule some working group meetings and invite people to have some more structured conversations. But in the short term, play with it. Send notes to support at openetdata.org. Play with it, grab Will and Jordan over the next day and a half. So, yes.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
thank you.
So that does conclude our session. We're a little bit early. If anybody has any other additional questions that they wanted to ask of any of the speakers, it's certainly an opportunity, or else otherwise grab any of them out on the veranda this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah.